Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, Patsun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/cheating stories, where OP's ex-girlfriend is now suffering the consequences for listening to an old and bitter woman. Let's begin. My wife gets angry at our kids and only refers to them as mine. How do I get her to stop and apologize to our kids? Posted by Reddit user Throw our A in card.
This is confusing and I think it's just stupid. My wife and I have 3 kids together, 2 girls, 1 boy. These are all our biological children. My kids are at that age where they're finding themselves and learning what their interests actually are. Lots of self-expression. I'm a very open-minded guy and I don't care what my kids are doing as long as they're healthy, safe, and most importantly, happy. One of my daughters is going through her emo phase. Yes, I had one too at her age. My wife doesn't like this at all. She absolutely despises it and criticizes her every time she sees her with her makeup and black clothes. She wants her to dress normally, in her words. I didn't care, like I said. I'm the one who bought my daughter the clothes in the first place. My wife has been doing this thing as of late, where when she's angry, she'll make snide remarks disguised as compliments, and then get offended when called out. I call her out when she does this to our children. I think it's incredibly immature and downright cruel to do to kids, especially our kids. She'll then claim that we're all dogpiling on her, and that she's sorry for being such a concerned mother who wants her kids to be normal. I've had multiple conversations about this with her. I think this is where her behavior came from, but I'm not sure. When she gets mad about the way our kids are dressed now, she says things like, "Look at how your daughter is dressed, and go get your son before I say something to him." I don't like this. Our kids are starting to hate their mother for a variety of teenage reasons, and this isn't helping at all. I don't want their relationship to deteriorate because she can't handle a bit of black clothing. My son is the last to figure out his own style, so he's been starting to latch onto his older sister's sense in music. My son was always a mommy's boy before this, so it's driving my wife insane. He painted his nails black last week and his sister put eyeliner on him, and my wife nearly passed out from shock. This caused her to demand he take it off, scolded our daughter, and made her cry. My wife had then called me while I was at work, telling me that I better come get my kids before she gives them a reason to hate her. I luckily got to go home, and when I got there it was a bit of a wreck. My son was fuming on the couch and my 2 daughters were nowhere to be found. When I asked him what happened, my wife came storming out of the kitchen ripping me a new one for allowing this kind of disrespectful behavior. While she was yelling, my son said that he hated her. She shrieked at me to control my kid and I could see how hurt my son was to hear that. He went up to his room without a word, and I calmed my wife down enough to get the story in her words, before telling her that she can't do that and needs to apologize. She hasn't as far as I know. She's been giving me the silent treatment ever since and I'm honestly just tired. I don't give a damn what my kids are wearing or what type of music they're listening to. I know from first-hand experience that if a kid can't do something, they're going to find a way to do it and start lying and sneaking around, and we all know how that can end. I don't want that. I want open communication and a great relationship with everyone. This is stressing me out. How do I get my wife to apologize and stop saying these things? There are kids and I know this rift is going to only get larger. My wife is beginning to resent me too, I think. Edit. Just to add some things, I would go to war for my kids. My children weren't showing signs of depression, just dabbling with style because it's popular on TikTok. I had a shitty upbringing and vowed to be the best dad I could. I'm trying. I've tried to keep most of this fighting behind closed doors as well. I don't believe in your kids being involved in the fighting between parents. I've been paying close attention to my kids and went out to eat on my day off with my 2 that are having problems with their mother. I bought my other daughter a new makeup thing for her eyes to show her that I didn't forget about her either. My wife was not always like this. My wife was great with the kids and always a very even-tempered woman. I have no idea where this behavior came from, but it is concerning. She's never mistreated our kids and used to be the proud mommy in the crowd at their school plays. No one is interested in therapy at the moment, but I especially want to get my wife the help I think she needs. She was always a very supportive, positive woman and that's why I fell in love with her. I do not want a divorce, but if it truly came down to it, I'd be fighting for full custody. I don't care if our kids wear some makeup, are goth, gay, into sports, nerds, or whatever else it may be. They're my babies and I'll fight tooth and nail if it comes down to it, but I pray that I won't have to. I love everyone involved.
I am so glad that these children have a father like you, OP. It will make all the difference in their lives to know that they are loved and accepted no matter what, as long as they are not degenerates. As for your wife, though, she needs individual therapy. If she's not willing, then maybe family therapy will be a good start. If she's still unwilling and continues to do these things to your children, then maybe you should start talking to a divorce lawyer. And now for today's second story. My ex-girlfriend found me. She's a wreck. I got closure, but I feel it wasn't worth it. Posted by Reddit user Misfortune2.
My ex-girlfriend found me and wanted to hang out, but I just ignored her after she broke my heart. Backstory: in 2015 I met this woman at college. Let's call her Casey. We had so many things in common and we instantly got close. She asked me out and it was a wonderful relationship, or so I thought. We had dreams together, sent X-rated pics once in a while. We do a lot of stuff together, no sex yet. In 2019 Christmas time, I was going to propose to her after I give her parents and siblings gifts. I even gave her mom, who hates me, a gift. Casey works at the hospital, so she'll get out of work later, or so I thought. At 5 p.m., she didn't come to her parents' place, but I came and decided to give everyone gifts. When I give her younger sister a laptop, let's call her Sherry, she cries and hugs me because she always wanted one for school. Casey's father a new barbecue grill. Moments later, Sherry told me I couldn't contain it anymore and cried harder. I asked what's the matter. She immediately grabbed me to her room and her father came along as well. Sherry kept saying I'm sorry so many times. I was confused on why. She then showed me a pregnancy test and told me that it belongs to Casey. I completely lost it and wanted to know why and how long was the affair. Sherry informs me that the affair happened in the beginning of 2019. While I was working a lot at my factory job, she went to see him. What makes matters worse is that Casey's mom was the one who introduced the affair partner to Casey.
Burn the witch!
Apparently in the month of November, Casey found out she's pregnant and she begged Sherry not to tell anyone after Sherry found the test. When she told me everything, my world came crashing down and I decided to leave. But before I left, I thanked Sherry and her father, let's call him Max. Max apologized and said that if I leave his daughter he would completely understand. We shook hands and I said thank you. I just looked at Casey's mom and I then left my ex's house, just drove away and didn't look back. Max and Sherry got furious with Casey's mom, let's call her Jane. Around 7 p.m. Christmas time, I informed my family on what happened and they all comforted me. 11 p.m., my phone began blowing up with phone calls and text messages of my ex saying she can explain. I didn't answer back. I changed my number, deleted my social media, and changed my email. As much as I want closure, I didn't want to see her face. Fast forward to mid of 2020, one of my friends informed me that the affair partner, who got Casey pregnant, ran away after he found out he's the father. And they're looking for him. I simply said, who cares? Fast forward to last month, LC, a number I never seen before. I answered and it was my ex. My ex begged me to talk to her and possibly give her a chance at my favorite restaurant. I responded, why should I, after you did what you did? She rambled on and I just ignored her, because I don't want to go through the same pain that she had put me through. Casey began gaslighting me. Her friends and her mom called me a coward for not seeing her again. I told Jane, you have the audacity to say that after what you've done. She rambled on, but I just hung up and blocked Jane and my ex's number. I informed her friends what happened, and they left me alone. And now, for OP's update. It's been nearly 3 months since I posted my story and apparently, she found me. Of all days, Mother's Day, which was last week Sunday. My mom wanted to go to Red Lobster since she loves seafood. One of my sisters came along as well, really half-sister, but she's my sister, let's call her Raven. We were about to leave, all of a sudden, I ran into my ex's sister Sherry and the Wicked Witch of the West, Jane, in Red Lobster. Sherry was in total shock seeing me, and I was hoping Casey isn't there with her. Thankfully she wasn't. Jane looked at me with disgust and Raven in disbelief. Jane was in total shock at seeing Raven for some reason, not sure why, but wait until later. I was about to explode, until the moment I looked at my mom and Raven, because they both wanted to pound Jane to the ground for what she did to me. So I had to calm both of them down. Sherry then begged me to talk to her. After a heated argument involving my mom, Jane, and my sister, Raven then suggested that if I want to talk to Sherry, both of you talk alone. We won't be involved and not the snake bitch Jane.
Burn the witch!
We talked for a bit and asked me how I've been and says how she misses me and wished that I didn't leave. She told me that my ex was miserable when I left, and I responded that it was not my problem. I then asked, how is school treating you? Sherry cried and said that Casey broke the laptop I gave her for Christmas a week after I left and ghosted her. I asked before I went, why does your mom hate me? I'm curious. Sherry then said it was because she saw me with another woman, and it was that same woman that they both saw just now. Little did Jane know that it was my sister. I told Sherry that Casey's actions are wasted. The warranty is still available until November 2022. Sherry literally dances for joy and she said, I'll immediately get the laptop after dinner. We said goodbye, we hugged, and left. The next day I waited at Brandsmart. Work was slow. I see Sherry, and to my surprise, Max came along. No lie, I had a smile on my face. We talked. Max loved the grill I gave and he still apologized, but I told him there's nothing he can do. After the laptop was resolved, we chatted for nearly an hour. They insisted on talking for a while, not sure why. I told them it was good seeing them. But Max insisted on taking me to a restaurant I had never been to, and he paid for everything as a thank you for giving Sherry another laptop. A better one. Sherry responded, I'm sorry about this, I hope you forgive me. Please don't be upset. Lo and behold, my ex came, and she looked worse shaped than I imagined. She looks worse than a surgery gone wrong. She tried to hug me, I just stick my hand out and asked, what the hell do you want? Casey apologized and begged me to take her back, saying it was a mistake, blah blah cheater's excuse. I responded, you cheated on me for nearly a year when I worked my ass off for us, and this is how you repay me. She realized that mistake and says that it was Jane's fault, and I said, you went along with it. You could have said I'm not happy with you anymore, but you didn't. It's not my problem anymore, I moved on, and you did too for nearly a year. And the fact you gaslit me, try to put the baby on me when we never had sex, the hell. And now, the affair partner left you and he's on child support. Casey told me that her son is now 1 year old and needs a father. I told her, good luck with that. She asks why am I being so mean. I said, you're the reason for this. I wanted kids, I nearly got a house for us, family stuff, and you threw all that away. Casey said that I threw it away because she told me Jane saw me with another woman and she described what she looked like. I laughed and called Sherry to let her know who she seen. Sherry explained everything to my ex. Casey was crying really hard and that she realized all this time I was faithful, and she wished she never listened to Jane and said I hate her for this. Casey begged for another chance, saying we will fix everything, and will do anything, just take me back. I simply just told Casey, Max, and Sherry, I wish you all the best, and walked out. I told my family why I was out a bit long, and they immediately were proud of me for not taking her back. My dad laughs and said, Jane wanted you gone son and found a reason, a stupid one at that, you'll do better on the next woman. So yeah, thank you guys for everything. I didn't think I would run into her again. Even though I got closure, it wasn't worth it to see the two women who broke me.
So your ex-girlfriend thought that you were cheating, but instead of talking to you like a reasonable adult, she decided that she would cheat for a year. Yeah, she's lying, OP. She was already cheating way before this incident. And this comment by Reddit user Judge Gene Hunt perfectly summed up the situation. By the way, it got 69 upvotes.
Nice.
So if I read this in your original post right, Jane saw you with half-sister Raven and decided you were cheating, as she had no idea that Raven was your sister. At least that's their story and they are sticking to it. Jane, not liking you and therefore not being keen on her daughter dating you, used that incident to persuade your then-girlfriend to date this other guy.
Burn the witch!
When dating this other guy and you at the same time, she wouldn't play hide the sausage with you, but did so with the other guy. When the situation blew up in her face and it turned out she was up the duff, rather than come clean, she was going to trap you with Jane colluding. Except for you being the nice guy and buying great presses for Max and sister, they decided to tell you the truth. Do you think that when your dropped girlfriend, she was going to say that she thought you weren't interested, as you two weren't shagging? And she had been told by her mom that you were seeing someone else. And was the lack of Percy filth between you and Shagnasty your choice or hers?
Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.